What's up, folks, and welcome back to Dyce Reacts, where we are staying in London, England tonight, where we are going to be checking out 7 ways British winter was a huge culture shock to an American. Side checks one out. We ain't going to waste no more time. Just going to get right into it, folks. We're going to get right into it. Oh, yeah.
Hi and welcome back to the Girl Gone London channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylin. I've lived in the UK as an American for over 13 years now, going on 14, and I'm a dual UK and US citizen. And in this video, we're talking about 7 British winter culture shocks that I didn't expect coming from Florida. Now, the first thing on my list is this thing, which is a hot water bottle. I have never seen a hot water bottle before coming from Florida. When we heat our homes and when we heat ourselves, I guess you could put it, we typically have different types of heating, and it honestly doesn't get that cold that many days. But in the UK, with the damp and even though it's a little bit mild, the still cold winter, people use these things, which I was gifted years and years and years ago. And how it works, if you're not familiar, is this is actually a covering for the hot water bottle inside. And so you simply open this top bit, and then you're supposed to add boiling water or just really hot water. I don't think it's supposed to be too boiling. There's like a science to this that I clearly haven't learned yet, but you're supposed to add very hot water into here, close this back up, and then it's nice and warm, and people put it into bed with them. So
Guys, I don't even know what to say. I was trying to figure out what is she talking about. If it's like a flask to keep water hot or something like that. But she said a hot water bottle and you could go to bed with it. This is the first time I've heard anything like this. First time. I don't think I've seen it in movies or anything of that nature. Maybe it's been in a film or two, but I didn't realize it was that because they never highlighted the fact. This is the first time I'm hearing that. And I'm shocked. How? I have never heard that.
maybe you like heat your bed up before you get into it by sticking your hot water bottle down where your feet go or up near your head, or maybe you just snuggle with it when it's very cold outside and you want something nice and cozy and warm. So that was a culture shock coming to the UK. Now the next things on my list have to do with weather. So here's another culture shock for you. I wasn't used to how foggy it can get in the winter. I had never really driven in fog in the US. I'm pretty sure I didn't even know where my fog lights were on my car in Florida. I couldn't even tell you. But fog is something that we encounter a lot in the UK, especially in the winter months, and sometimes it can get very, very thick and very, very hard to see. And so moving to the UK, when I started driving again, I really had to make sure I knew exactly where my fog lights were and how to work them so that if I were in a condition where I had to drive home or had to drive somewhere during a very foggy morning or evening, then I knew what to do. And again, this is one of those differences that have to do with exactly which state I'm from. So I'm from Florida. It's hot. It's mostly sunny. If I were from a northern state in the US, this would be a different video. But again, this is my experience coming from Florida to the UK. Now, the next thing on my list has to do with duvets and bedding and how it relates to winter. So follow me here. In the UK in particular, people are obsessed with having a duvet instead of a comforter. If you're unfamiliar, a duvet is something that has a cover on it. A comforter, as we call it in America, is a blanket that already has a built-in cover. A duvet, you have the actual duvet and then a duvet cover. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is about winter. And so when it relates to duvets, I had never heard of like a winter duvet versus a summer duvet, or something that they call togs. And tog is essentially how they measure the thickness of a duvet. So different duvets have different togs and you use them at different times of the year. The higher the tog number, the thicker the duvet. And this was a whole world of winter bedding and winter options. And to be honest, the idea that you would switch around what's on your bed in the winter months is kind of...
I know about the comforter and the bedding, but she's talking about a duvet. I don't know if I've seen a duvet, so I don't know if I'm confused or not, because I don't know what it is and how different it is in terms of visually. So I can't even really give proper feedback on what she's saying there.
unheard of in places like Florida, where it really does remain pretty consistent throughout the year. And when it's very, very hot, we have our air conditioners going so much that you still need your blankets. So I guess you can add the winter duvet talk to my water bottle confusion. Again, just adding things to your bed to make it warmer and cozier and having a winter versus summer look. Now, the next weather-related culture shock on my list about British winter is sun glare. So in the winter months, the sun is very low in the sky. And that means that when the sun is at full force, which isn't a ton, which I'll go into in my next point, but when it is at full force, and because it's low, it basically hits the windscreen of your car at an angle that can make it very glary and very difficult to see anything. And so again, I had to learn all the things to do to combat sun glare, which you can't always, but there are different things of making sure your windscreen is completely clear, and really making sure that you're practicing safe driving and slowing down or coming to a stop safely if the sun glare is so bad, because it really can get to the point that you cannot see what's in front of you. And this, of course, can be dangerous in general, but even if you're going at a slower speed, somebody could walk in front of you and it's just so glary in your windscreen that you could not see them. So I did have to learn completely different driving techniques and different driving hazards than I was used to in Florida. Okay. Now, the next weather British winter culture shock on my list had to do with the darkness. So it does get dark very, very early in the UK compared to Florida. So if you look at a map, you can see where Florida is compared to the equator and where the UK is compared to the equator. It means that the UK has very, very long days in the summer and very, very short days when it comes to darkness, not like the hours in a day. That would be a real culture shock. When it comes to the hours of light and dark in a day, Britain kind of fluctuates a lot more. Florida does fluctuate a little bit, but not as much. So it's more consistent throughout the year. Again, not entirely. It doesn't follow the exact same hour every single month. It does fluctuate, but nothing so drastic like here in the UK. And so that winter darkness was really interesting to deal with when I first moved here, because it seems like your day ends at like 3 p.m. in December when it gets dark. Now, over the years, I've learned different ways to combat this by making sure that you either lean into it and get super cozy super early, or that you keep yourself active. You use things like sad lamps, which I've talked about in the past, and just generally keep living your life despite the darkness. And what's good about the holiday time, which does fall in the winter months, is that the lights look a lot better in the dark, so you can enjoy them even earlier. But let's move on from the darkness to talk about when it is light, because I have learned the joy of a crisp, sunny winter's day in the UK. It's like nothing else I'd ever experienced. Number one, everyone's happy because it's sunny and we can see the blue sky. Finally. And your spirits just seem lifted. Maybe it's chilly, maybe it's not, but I do like the frost when it's on the ground in the cooler months. On a really sunny, crisp day. I feel like it's just something to look forward to. The forest looks so nice. The country looks so nice. And you really get to appreciate the weather in that sense. Yes, so yes, it does get darker earlier. Yes, there could be days blanketed with fog, but also in the winter months, when it is good and it is crisp and it is sunny, it means even more. It's even more of an event than what I was used to in Florida. If it was sunny, it's pretty much sunny every day. Yes, and to be honest, you kind of lose a lot of the feeling of joy when you do see the blue sky or you do see the sun. It creates a totally different atmosphere in the UK. And the next thing on my list is that it doesn't snow here as much as I thought it would. So being from Florida and not having seen that much snow in my life, I sort of just thought anywhere with a proper winter, and by that I mean like a season. The leaves change, it gets a lot noticeably colder. I kind of just associated winter with snow. But the UK doesn't have a climate where it snows a lot in the winter months. And there's been quite a few winters since I moved here that it hasn't snowed at all here in the southeast. Now, the further north you go, up into the Scottish Highlands, that's gonna have a different story and that's gonna have more snow than I'm used to down here close to London. But I guess I had seen so many like snowy London landscapes, or like I had seen a snowy winter British scene in the movies or something, that I just thought snow was a more common occurrence. But again, when we do get a snow day, it's definitely a big event. It's super fun. It actually snowed one day already this year in November, which was very odd. And it didn't stick around, but here in the southeast, some of us definitely got like snow that stuck on the ground, which was very interesting.
I don't know what to you for. I don't know if I've seen it. Most likely maybe I've seen it, Whether it's in real life or in movies, certainly I've seen it, but I didn't know the term per se. Just thought it maybe was just like a bed covering, but it's more in detail, it was more specific than just a bed covering, a duvet. When I'm done, I'm gonna check out duvets myself, and also the hot water bottle. I thought she was talking about a flask or something, and I was like, how is it she never heard about a flask that's holding hot water and keeping it warm or hot for long periods of time? I thought she was going in that direction, but she made me look stupid, man. It's something that you could go in bed with and keep you warm. It's genius, especially for the cold countries, for extreme weather, cold weather. And for some reason, I've never heard it. But like I said, maybe I've seen it in a scene in movies already, and I thought maybe it was just like a pillow someone was holding. When she said about the sun is lower in like certain times of the winter, and they could have a glare on the windshield, I was like wondering, so is the glare more, is it worse in winter countries when the sun is setting, or in a country that's normally sunny and certain parts of the day or the afternoon time where there is a glare on the windshield? Which one is kind of worse? Or is it just, if you're not from a sunny place, it's gonna affect you more? I just thought about it when she said that, because the way she made it sound as if it was worse in a place that's very cold in the winter time, because she's from Florida, like you said, and it's always sunny. So I'm wondering, she has to experience the same glare, but why is the way she's saying it, she's making it look like it's worse. So I'm guessing it is. Yes, I had a few culture shocks myself, and my goodness, there's so much to learn, man, and I'm learning a lot from her. Like, her video is very historical and makes you really think, really go in deep thought. If I want to see that long term, I do hit over on Dyce Reacts by the Music Reactions. This is where I'm going to be making my exits. Until next time, peace out.